Hi, and welcome to this episode of DeepTech F. I am Ola Wassvik, serial DeepTech founder and currently the CCO and co-founder of Lightbringer. And with me today, I have Erik Kayser.
Hi everyone, my name is Erik Kayser. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Renotch. Renotch is based on the insight that energy isn't scarce, it's just mistimed. So we move summer solar peaks to heat our buildings in the winter.
We actually started talking even before we came into the room here, Erik. And I think the interesting stuff about hardware is that it always breaks.
Yes.
So tell me the story you told me outside about the horrible mistake with electricity.
Okay, the one with the
Yes.
So we had when I started working, we had that was way back. So we had physical computers in a room. So every Monday morning between 9 and 9:30, the computer went down. And we were sitting on distance. This was at a logistics warehouse. There were cranes and AGVs and everything running around. And we couldn't figure out why was the computer stopping Monday morning between 9 and 9:30. So eventually we said, okay, but someone has to be in the room. So we went, and this was a back room, somewhere, a storage room of some sort. It was a table and a computer and a screen. So one of us went in the room, stood there like 9:15, looking at the screen. What will happen in 15 minutes? 8:55, the door opens and in comes the cleaner. Takes the plug, pulls it out.
With you in the room?
No, I wasn't in the room. I wasn't physically in the room, but my colleague was in the room. They're looking at the screen.
And they pulled the plug.
Someone came in and they didn't know what's going to happen. She just took the cable, pulled it out, took her cable, put it in, went out, cleaning and everything, and went back after 20 minutes and replaced it. And I was like, what fuck just happened? So the remedy was install another outlet so we could have
two outlets. That's an amazing solution. I think that's actually quite a nice electrical issue. We had one where one of the things you quite often have to do in DeepTech is you have to go to trade shows and you have to kind of show stuff.
Yeah.
And then you spend all this time in the lab trying to make it happen. And you bring it there.
Yeah.
And you need to connect it to a power outlet.
Yeah.
And very often it's the wrong power outlet, especially if you're European and you're going from 240 volts to US where there's a different current. So what happened here is that we brought this very big display.
Yeah.
And it cost us like $50,000 to make it and ship it and everything. And everyone's tired, having like jet lag going in, mounting everything, putting the cord in, and it just like says,
it just breaks.
No, it starts like smoking.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, okay, that was a very, very expensive mistake. And now our centerpiece of the display is just gone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What did you do?
What we did was that we put the person on a flight with a smaller screen.
Yeah.
And we just started remaking the booth and fit that one instead. So we had this large booth that was supposed to hold a 105-inch display, and we had this little 32-inch in the middle. But we had people standing around talking, and it.
But that's an interesting. I made an observation in life in general. And so the fuck up is, okay, I thought of doing X, but now Y happened.
Yep.
But they don't know that you thought about X. They only see Y.
Yes.
So they are super happy. They thought, oh yeah, this big booth, and just to show a small screen. They don't know that you thought about a big one.
No, exactly. And what we did on top, because we couldn't show the same little screen that we had been showing, so we had the software team just make something up quickly as we shipped it over. And then you can load that app onto the display and actually show something new.
Yeah.
It actually became a new product after that. So it's like, but and to be honest, the big one never flew.
No, okay.
Because it was just so complex and so big and annoying in general. But you have some burning electronics stories as well, if I remember correctly.
So should we take the other one as well?
Yeah,
okay, so this is also old things. So we at that time we were doing logistics systems for warehouses and distribution centers. at the office. It was one of the biggest supplier in Sweden. We had some 100 digital equipment computers in the basement running different things. And there was this large bang outside, with thunder and lightning and everything. The power went out. And then it came back, I don't know, 2 seconds later.
But you had surge protection.
So it switched off everything. The power came back. And then it switched on. And this was, of course, American equipment. So it switched on default, which was 110 volts. So it was 100 computers, motherboards were just burnt. The reflection I made afterwards, years afterwards, was, okay, so when we design something, the assumptions are really the mother of all fuck-ups. So we assumed this is going to work, and someone made it, tested it in the lab in the US, and did exactly this thunder and lightning and everything, and it worked. Then they shipped it to Europe, and no one had really experienced that kind of thing until we had it.
It's what you're so sure will happen that doesn't actually happen. That's the kind of
I learned. I heard, this is just a rumor I heard. Someone at an Ericsson yearly, Christmas party had a stand-up comedian. And he was, making jokes. This was, I don't know, 80s, early 90s, 80s, I would think. He made a joke that said, "Can Ericsson speak Japanese?" And everyone was laughing and so on. And there were 2 engineers. I was thinking, can we speak Japanese at Ericsson? We don't know. So they found 2 Japanese-speaking people in Stockholm and asked them to talk, because they hadn't sold anything in Japan at that time. Asked them to speak, and it was silence, because the optimizer was removing the frequencies that the Japanese language contained. They only tested it with Western languages. So they had a kind of panic. Okay, we need to fix it because someone asked a joke. So my learning for that one is, try to joke around and play around with your assumptions.
And ask all the stupid questions.
Can we speak Japanese? Of course we can. That's an assumption.
So I've done a lot of business in China. And one thing you can assume about China is that nothing is what you assume. It's like you actually have to be there. So this was actually on Taiwan, but same culture. We had this optical part that we were going to manufacture. And we went there. I'm not sure if I told this story before, but we went there and we saw their equipment. Everything was nice. And we went home and we ordered the parts. And when they came, they were like dusty and dirty and didn't work at all. And the same like with the cleaning lady. So then we sent the guy there and he washed. Okay, so what's actually happening? Well, in the summer it's too hot. So they just opened the door. And next door, there was a tractor manufacturing and tractor repair shop. I was just putting all the exhaust into the room. So you have to be in the room. You have, because nothing is as you expect it.
Okay, I'm going to build upon that one. So we had this years later. We had this software solution that's going to work on telecom equipment, and we had a project in China together with Ericsson, I think it was. And we had the Chinese team on site in Beijing, and we had everything was set up. So I jumped on the plane, I went to Beijing, I went into the room, and it was literally empty. And I was asking, where's all the equipment? Where are all the computers, everything? No. Import restrictions, we can't import it. But we had a call 2 days ago, and you said it was there. But that was because we wanted it to be there. So that was okay. And then they learned, okay, so it actually has to be, and then it executed to 2 days, and they had everything set up and everything fixed. They were extremely good at it. But we needed to be in the room to understand and really communicate. We couldn't do it over like a Teams connection, but Teams in those days.
And there is no place on the planet that works as fast as in China when it comes to hardware. It's just like, I think that every hardware founder should go to China and visit a lot of factories and just see how they do stuff, because it's like mentally completely different to what you were doing.
And my experience is that they approach hardware like we would approach software. So they do stuff and they break it, and they're not afraid of breaking even big things in order to actually get to a point where it really works. Where we are more careful and considerate, and we don't want to waste materials, and it's expensive and all those things, which makes the development, we don't really explore the edges of what we can do, and they break more things.
This is a great segue into another thing. We were doing manufacturing of a large metal plate, and it had a lot of holes and stuff in it, and we had one site in Poland, and we had a test site in Sweden where we're doing it. Quite large, complex machines, but they weren't that big. and then we asked the Chinese supplier that we were doing with, can you do this? And they were like, yes, but it has to be done like this. And we're like, why? But we need this little thing. No, you have to work around it. And we tried to convince them, because those little things, they were critical to the functionality. And then one of them actually said, come visit the factory and you will understand.
Okay.
So we went there, visited the factory. Instead of one machine, they had 10 machines.
Okay.
And they were like 5 times the size of the machine that we were working with. And they did things super quickly, but each machine could only do one thing. And then they had like people running with the pieces in between. So they had like every step was in a massive machine. And we're like, we can't change this machine because it's like 200 tons and we have 10 of them. And then we were like, okay, this is like design for manufacturing. We have to change our design, otherwise we will never be competitive compared to how they actually do it.
So that reminds me of one of the later things we've done, and I'm going to start with whenever we design something and create something, it needs to be based on an insight, and especially a commercially differentiating insight. So why are we doing this coffee cup? It needs to have some kind of insight that makes this different from yours. These happen to be the same, but from another coffee cup. So we had this was a huge paper mill in Sweden, and they were at that point, people were doing what's called a wood plastic composite. So they took a fiber, wood fiber, and mixed it with plastic, and then got the WPC material. And it has some attributes and so on. This paper mill had a very special type of fiber that no one had tried before. So we call a workshop with potential customers, and we said, we have this, and we just made it up physically, but we made it manually, so to say. But this is a physical piece, and said, we can now manufacture it. We couldn't. And the price is, and we had a price on a paper card. Would you, at the end of this workshop, we would like you to answer the question, would you like to buy this thing at this price? And then we worked through the workshop, the 4-hour thing, so from morning to lunch. And after lunch, we then finished off and said, thank you. And then now's the time to answer this material at this price with these attributes. And we had some super attributes. Would you like to buy it? And then everybody said yes. And the difference is that this fiber had another form that basically armed the plastic. So the strength of the plastic was like 10 times stronger than when you used traditional wood fibers that everybody else used. And on our end, it had like 1/5 of the cost. So we had a stronger thing at a lower cost, and then a price tag on that. So really having a differentiating insight, material-wise, but also cost-wise. So
but what you did there is very interesting. You actually went out and did the commercials before you did the engineering properly.
yeah.
And this is something where I see that a lot of especially European engineers struggle because they want the technology to be perfect before they start selling it.
Yeah.
And this is completely different from both the US and from Asia.
Yeah.
In Asia, they will always tell you they can do it.
Yeah.
It's like, even if the factory is empty, they will say, no problem, we will have it in 3 weeks if you buy it.
Yeah.
And in the US, they say, yes, we can do it. And they won't even have a factory.
Yeah. You know Pippi Longstocking?
Yeah.
She always says, no, I haven't done that before, so I probably can do it.
Yes. Exactly. I think European DeepTech founders should be a little bit more like the US and the Asians, in the fact that, like, okay, do I have the competence to build this thing? Yes.
Yeah.
Then I should say that I almost have it.
Yeah.
And this slight visionary thinking is somewhat lacking quite often.
And it's because we are afraid to be wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like this. Yes, I would like to avoid to be wrong on the vision thing.
Yeah.
But being wrong on the way there, it's not a problem, because I can always find a way.
Yeah.
But if I'm wrong on the vision, that's really, really bad.
Yeah.
So try to be very clear on the vision, and then
very good point. And I think this is also true for venture capital in Europe versus US. European venture capital is super risk averse to technology risk.
Yeah.
Like, if there's any technology risk, they will be like, oh, this is scary.
Yeah.
Whereas the Americans is just like, why isn't your vision bigger?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't care about the technology. I'm sure you will work it out, but why aren't you targeting to conquer the universe?
Yeah, in 2 months.
Yeah, in 2 months, absolutely.
Yeah, first month you.
But let's go back to some more things that went completely wrong. You worked a lot in logistics.
Yeah.
I've done more logistics in a lifetime than I wish I would in for eternity. I've one really interesting story, and I hope you have something similar. And this combines logistics in places that you don't know.
Yeah.
I actually wrote about this in my book, A Game of DeepTech.
Yeah.
We spec'd our system to be able to handle certain drop tests and shaking, and you have these large environmental chambers, and you pay a lot of money for them to be tested there. And then still we got field rejections. Okay. Basically because, so we dropped the box and it broke.
Oh.
And we were like, okay, so how did you break the box? Again, you have to talk to someone, because it was like a sub-supplier of a sub-supplier.
Yeah.
And turns out that the last mile delivery was via donkey. Because they had to go over a mountain pass in China.
Yeah.
And this is apparently quite common in certain places, because we were delivering to schools.
Yeah.
And the schools are everywhere.
Yeah.
So it had to be there. And they were doing last mile donkey delivery. And if you drop a display from the back of a donkey down a mountain hill,
it breaks.
It breaks. So we both had to kind of clarify how you were allowed to transport. And we had to increase packaging. So any more logistical nightmares?
Yeah. So okay. So it's not mine. Yeah. Is it okay if it's not mine?
Yeah. It's fine.
So this is a Chinese washing machine manufacturer. I forgot the name, but it's a good story. They got feedback. Your washing machine breaks.
Yep.
And they were kind of okay, and they couldn't understand, because that never happened in their lab. So once again, they sent out a guy to observe what people are doing with their washing machine.
Yep.
And this was in the countryside, small city in China, and they went out, they looked into people's home where they washed their clothes, and then out with the clothes and in with the vegetables.
Of course.
Yes, of course. And full of sand and dirt and everything. And then they washed the vegetables, and of course it fills up with sand. You know what they did?
No.
They went back home and they redesigned the washing machine. So now you can wash vegetables as well.
And they probably sold more washing machines.
In the store.
Yeah.
So that's commercially differentiating insight.
Yeah.
So in the store, they had the new version of the washing machine
with
a huge sign on top. Now you can wash vegetables as well.
Yeah, that's
and if
perfect.
just people just buying it and throwing it out, and it was a huge success.
Yeah.
Because they went out and to see for themselves,
Yeah,
and they took back the insight and made something out of it.
Yeah, there we have where people are doing stuff that things were not intended for.
Yeah.
Slight different version of that is I'm not sure if you've heard about the U.S. Forestry Service. They got a lot of complaints that it was like, why do all the bears open up the trash cans in the forest and eat all the food? Can't you build better trash cans that the bears can't get into? And the official reply was, well, if you look at the Venn diagram between the intelligence of bears and humans and opening trash cans, there is an overlap.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to assume that people will do a lot of stupid things with your systems if they don't have any understanding of how they work.
Yeah.
And you have to make it work for your entire audience.
Yeah. Even those who are on the level of a bear.
Even those who are at the level or lower than the level of the bear because they can't actually get into the trash can.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you want one more?
Yes, I want one.
So Ola, you asked me to prepare. So
yeah.
So this was the continuation of this paper mill thing.
Yep.
So now we've actually we got an okay. This is a price tag and a spec, a physical spec that will work. So then we went into production, and then we said, okay, so we're going to make something out of it. So we had a tray manufacturer who were making trays. So we went to their place, and they made it out of plastic, for ordinary plastics. We went in with our material. And it was like roughly 50-50 of plastic and fiber.
Yep.
So it was very much fiber and smelled fiber. Into the machine, press the buttons, and it produced at the normal process of plastic, which was a little bit too hot.
Yeah.
So it started burning
the whole machine.
Yeah, the black trays came out.
Okay. Not the machine, but
the trays. So smoke and the black tray, and the produced black trays, and so that's the back to the assumptions.
Yeah.
No one had really thought about the temperature, because these are guys from a paper mill, not used to manufacturing plastic things.
Yeah.
So it's also really, but that everybody was present.
Yeah.
So we learned, okay, so we should probably have a little bit less fiber, and we should probably run it at a little bit lower temperature, so it doesn't burn.
Yeah.
So we came back the week after and fixed those things, and it was nice and proper.
But that's how it should be done.
Yeah.
I will argue that it's much worse if you first spend 10 weeks trying to figure out all the things that were wrong, and then you go in and you realize, well, it's because of this thing that it doesn't work. You have to get it onto the market.
Yeah.
You have to get it into the machine and try to make it happen before you can figure out the
and the thing there is also to be on your own end, be sure that we're gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
So
and it's okay to fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the Pixar when they with the success of them is your objective with today is to make whatever you're doing suck less.
Yeah.
Not perfect, become perfect, but suck less. So in our words, then a little smaller fuck up, and then a smaller one, and eventually we will run out of fuck ups.
Yeah.
And we will have something that really works.
Yeah. And one of the interesting thing about trying to get stuff onto trade shows is you figure out a lot of stuff that you would have to figure out when you're going to get it to a customer.
Yeah.
So actually this very, very large display, we figured out that this is probably a quite bad product if we can't even get it to a trade show and show it there. Because some of the mistakes I've made in the past is trying to okay, we can't actually even get this out of the lab. Let's bring the customer into the lab.
Yeah.
If you can't even get your product outside of the lab, you probably won't be able to get it to a customer anytime in the future.
So the most recent thing, it's not a fuck up, but it's more a learning of that, is that we went with V-Notch, we went to a trade show in Germany here in March.
Yep.
And our stuff is buried underground. So
Very big stuff.
very big stuff. It's hundreds of meters and everything. So it's super advanced, but you can't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the
it's
whole
a
idea,
boring product.
yeah, exactly. And today, it doesn't really exist as something that you can show that people would actually understand.
Yeah.
So we were kind of feeling, what are we going to show at the trade show?
Yeah.
And how can we engage people? So we brought in an illustrator, and then we had a 2-hour workshop trying to explain what we are doing and have that person draw. And then that person went home, spent like 2 days coming up with ways of illustrating it. So we made a mural, 2 by 3 meter mural that we printed on a huge poster that we brought with us, put it up, because we also realized that every stand at the trade show is boring.
Yes.
So we wanted to make something that really stood out.
You want to peacock in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. And I've never ever been to many trade shows. I would say everyone that passed by stopped.
Yep.
Because it was a funny, we brought in Santa Claus, because we had summer and winter in it. So we had a Santa Claus, and in the summer picture, it's in summer beekeeper as well when I'm not here. We had some beehives, and we had all kinds of details. And then we had, of course, our big thing, and it goes down into the ground. So we also had some fossils from dinosaurs and everything. People were laughing, they were pointing. It was a huge opener for us to talk about what we're doing. And out of there, I don't know, 150, 200 people that actually went to our stand, one person saw Santa.
And he was there.
Yeah. It was a small Santa.
It was a small Santa.
Flying in one of the corners there. It was kind of a Easter egg in this mural. So my advice is, if you can't even get a physical thing, make it something funny, make it something visual, so it's possible to grasp.
That's actually a problem that a lot of DeepTech startups have, is that their actual product is quite boring. So putting it into context makes it much more interesting. Because if there's one thing that DeepTech companies fuck up, I would say it's 2 things. It's how they present their product and bring it to market, and it's their name. So tell us a little bit. So when you because Renotch is you at least get the thing. Why are they called Renotch? I'm sure you could be called Subterranean Energy Corporation.
Yes. So and it's I can blame my bad English. On it because we were thinking about a name. And I was Googling the name of a electrical socket. So and trying to find different versions of that, and notch is kind of a notch.
A notch.
And that's kind of what you see inside the electrical socket. So that was something, and then we want to redo it. We want to do it in a different way. So then we put re in front. And renotch.com wasn't taken.
So a very important aspect in today's.
So we could register renotch.com, and that's the name. And we tried this over Christmas, last Christmas, to come up with a new name. And we came up with lots of good names, but no one that had a .com was available. So we basically settled for, it's going to be Renotch, and it's easy enough to pronounce. It doesn't really mean anything, but re means something. People will associate that, and it's at the .com domain. So unless someone has a better name, it's going to be Renotch.
I agree with that. I think it would be much worse off being called Subterranean Energy Storage Corporation. At least now you have a story to tell about it. Well, that's all for this episode of the DeepTech Fuck-Ups. Thank you, Erik, for joining me.
Thank you, Ola, for having me, and thank you for being in this beautiful room with these old images and everything.
And thank you guys for watching. Watch out for the next one.